He had only ordered a cappuccino. The barista reacted like it was the end of the world. The police was about to pull his gun. Even the tank outside aimed its cannon at him. The man quickly realized something was wrong. He hurried to change the order to Americano. Only then did the barista relax, and the tank quietly moved its cannon away. As an NPC inside a video game, he couldn't even choose his own coffee. In a game called Free City, an online open-world virtual city, only the sunglasses-wearing paying players could do whatever they wanted. When the police surrounded them, they could casually fire rocket launchers in return. But an NPC named Guy lived the same boring routine every day. Every morning, he greeted his goldfish. Then he put on his signature blue shirt and khaki pants and went to work at the bank. Whenever players robbed the bank, the NPC security guard calmly took off his belt, lay down on the floor, and chatted about where to get beer after work. But one day after work, Guy saw a girl player humming Fantasy by Mariah Carey. The moment they passed each other, time seemed to freeze. He watched her walk away through explosions like it was nothing. A feeling he had never experienced before bloomed inside him. For the first time, he changed his routine. He chased after her to talk to her, but the moment he said hello, he was run over by a speeding train. Luckily, NPCs respawned infinitely. However, something inside him had already changed. When robbers came again and smashed the counter, Guy suddenly felt that this life was meaningless. When he looked up, he saw the girl again. His coworker Buddy told him to give up. Sunglasses people are not for us. But that only inspired Guy. He decided to take the robber's sunglasses. The player controlling the robber was shocked. He tried to fight back. Everyone believed NPCs were supposed to accept fate, but Guy wanted to control his own destiny. Awakened, he pulled the trigger. Everyone was stunned. Guy ran out of the bank without looking back. With the sunglasses on, he saw a completely different world. Neon icons floated everywhere. Planes and cannons filled the city. He picked up a health pack and instantly healed his wounds. For the first time, Guy felt truly alive. A player fell from the sky and dropped a pile of coins. Guy happily collected them. It was about a month's salary. He used the money to buy a pair of limited edition sneakers. But as he prepared to look for the girl, the game company noticed something was wrong. A programmer named Keys thought a hacker had broken in, so he and his co-worker Mouser entered the game using their favorite skins to deal with Guy. Keys became an angry cop. Mouser became a giant pink rabbit.
Nice skin.
Thank you.
When they opened fire, Guy realized it wasn't a joke. He ducked under the bullets and remembered his new shoes. He pressed them and launched himself into the air.
Too high! Too high!
The programmers changed the buildings like they were gods, trying to trap him. Guy ran across a hanging bridge. He jumped again, fell, and barely survived by deploying a bubble shield, but eventually, they caught up to him. Keys and Mouser killed Guy's character, believing they had taken down the hacker. But in reality, Guy simply respawned again, because he was an NPC. In real life, the programmer Keys was also living like an NPC. Mouser asked him why a genius who graduated from MIT and once made indie games was now handling customer complaints. Keys sighed and said it was a long, sad story. In short, he needed to pay off his student loans. Right after graduation, Keys and his college friend Millie had developed a game called Life Itself. Millie believed that Antoine, the boss of Tsunami, had stolen their original code and used it to create Free City. That was why she was diving into the game every day to find evidence of the theft. Keys was currently working for Tsunami under Antoine. Millie was furious. She questioned why Keys had joined the same corrupt company and begged him to help her sneak into the game to steal back the proof. Keys cherished their friendship, but he needed a stable paycheck to survive, so he had no choice but to refuse. Millie had no other option but to go into the game alone. As soon as she teleported into the secure base, Guy suddenly appeared behind her.
What are we looking at?
He told her he had been searching for her, but their conversation alerted enemy guards. Millie switched weapons and fired multiple shots at the enemies above. The infiltration had failed. She opened a portal and escaped. Guy copied her move and followed closely, looking amazed at everything he saw. He invited her to team up. Millie tapped her glasses. Her level appeared above her head, level 100 plus. Guy's level floated above him, level 1, so Millie told him to come back after he reached level 100. But to level up, he needed to rob and harm NPCs. Kind-hearted Guy couldn't do that, so he came up with a brilliant idea. He started doing good deeds in the game. He stopped griefers from bullying low-level players. He protected NPCs belongings. He rescued people instead of hurting them. His leveling speed broke all game records. He gained a massive fan base. His kindness even made the news. He became a hero of Free City. Millie contacted Keys again. She asked him to help her break into the base. Keys could only give her 5 minutes, but for Millie, that was enough. Just after she found the evidence, red alarms flashed everywhere. Guards appeared with weapons, surrounding her. At the critical moment, Guy rode in on a motorcycle. He slid across the floor, took out the guards in style, threw off his helmet, and made a dramatic entrance. More enemies dropped from above, but Millie took them out with smooth precision. Guy, supposed to be saving her, ended up just staring at her in admiration. Only when an enemy swung at him did he snap out of it and fight back. He jumped onto his Ducati, and Millie flipped gracefully onto the seat behind him. Together, they crashed through a window, fighting and escaping in perfect sync. The mood suddenly shifted.
I don't suppose this thing can fly.
They grabbed a glider and soared away to safety. Afterward, Guy impressed Millie even more. He took her on a date and treated her to his favorite bubblegum-flavored ice cream. The identical weird flavor made Millie feel a sense of familiarity. They swung on playground swings, talking about childhood and dreams, and eventually, they shared a kiss. But when Key saw how close they had become, his heart ached. He looked up Guy's identity in the system and discovered something shocking. Guy was made from the very code he himself had written years ago. All of Guy's growing traits came from Key's own personality and preferences. Keyes rushed to tell Millie. He said the one she fell in love with was just a piece of code. Millie refused to believe it at first, but then she remembered the game didn't even have a kissing mechanic. Reality hit her. And Keyes brought even worse news. Tsunami was about to launch Free City 2. When the new version went online, all existing data would be wiped. They had only 48 hours left to steal the evidence. Millie found Guy and took him to a secret bar. On the screen, non-player characters repeated the same routines every day. Millie told him the truth. This world was just a game, and Guy was just one of its NPCs. Guy didn't want to believe it, but then he saw himself on the monitor. Everything he thought was meaningful. His dreams, his love, had been programmed. He walked out in a daze, ignoring Millie's calls. He had always felt something was missing in his life. He believed Millie filled that emptiness. But now, gunfire erupted behind him, yet he felt nothing. He walked forward like a ghost. He ran to the ocean to test whether the world was real. When he reached out, he found the edge of the map. His world was fake, but the pain he felt was real. Guy went to Buddy for comfort. He said, "None of this is real. We're just code." Buddy didn't fully understand, but he quietly said, "Maybe we're not real people, pal, but I'm here with you right now. And this moment feels real to me." Guy was moved. He decided to help Millie steal the evidence. They expected a huge battle, but the security guard happened to be Guy's biggest fan. In real life, he was a streamer. He screamed in excitement when he saw Guy. Not only did he not stop them, he literally handed them the secret video file himself. He even begged Guy, "Please shoot me in the head on your way out." But kind-hearted Guy, of course, refused. He quickly handed the evidence to Millie. It solved her urgent problem just in time. But suddenly, the evidence disappeared. Millie froze in place, as if she was turned to stone. The whole world seemed to stop. Everyone stood still without moving. Then, with flickering pixelation, all of the players vanished at once. It turned out that after Guy became famous, he gained a massive fan base online. They treated him like an icon and protested against the Free City update. CEO Antoine became desperate and was willing to go to extremes to cover up the truth. He ordered Mauser to reboot the servers. Players immediately exploded in frustration. Millie was overwhelmed and devastated. When the reboot finished, she logged into her character as fast as possible, but the reset version of Guy no longer remembered her at all. Right then, Keyes called her. He explained that a server reboot did not affect Guy's core programming. All Guy needed was the right emotional trigger to wake up again. When Keyes created Guy, he had coded Millie as Guy's dream girl. Sure enough, the moment they met again, Guy's self-awareness began to blossom once more. The guy who should have felt hollow suddenly felt alive again. Millie knew exactly what she needed to do. She rushed into the bank and dragged Guy outside. In a quiet alley, she gave him a deep, heartfelt kiss. His lost memories returned all at once. Colorful images burst in the air around them. Guy not only remembered Millie, but also remembered the original model location of the world. It had always been hidden as a reflection in his apartment. When Antoine stole the game, he copied only the surface and forgot to delete the mirrored world underneath. However, the original world was located beyond the ocean, and the game did not allow players to cross the sea. Millie felt stuck, but Guy suddenly had a bold idea. He used his popularity to gather all the NPCs together. Each NPC had their own dreams, but they had never been allowed to act on them. Only by making their first real choice could they break free from the system's control. Inspired by Guy, everyone united as one. The next day, when players logged back into the game, they found the bank completely empty. The streets were silent and deserted. Every non-player character had mysteriously disappeared. The players were shocked and confused. Antoine also realized that the crisis was coming. He ordered Mouser to outright delete Guy and Millie from the game, but none of the NPCs followed orders. They were all partying inside the coffee shop instead. Antoine was furious. He immediately commanded the destruction of everything. Buildings began to collapse. The ground cracked apart. The entire world started closing in on them, ready to crush them into nothing. Thankfully, Keys stepped in to help. He created a path out of thin air. Guy narrowly escaped and finally reached the beach. But on the other side of reality, Keys had already been caught by Antoine. Antoine gave Keys one last chance to choose a side, but Keys made his choice without hesitation. The broken debris formed together like a giant dragon, building a massive bridge across the ocean. Antoine, completely desperate, deleted every single player account. Millie vanished instantly. Guy was forced to continue the journey alone. Right as Antoine fired Keys from the company, Keys secretly launched a global live broadcast. All the players sat in front of their screens, waiting for Guy to turn the tide. To stop him, Antoine released a muscle-upgraded version of Guy. His name was Dude. Dude landed in the game and immediately launched a brutal attack. Buddy arrived just in time to help, but Dude was insanely strong, nearly indestructible. In desperation, Guy opened his power-up menu. He summoned Captain America's shield to block one of Dude's massive punches.
What the sh**?
Then he unleashed the Hulk's giant fist, punching Dude across the map. And then, he ignited a Jedi lightsaber. The entire internet went crazy. But even with these legendary weapons, Dude was still too strong to defeat. In a split second of genius, Guy removed his sunglasses and placed them onto Dude's face. Dude stopped attacking instantly. Seeing this new world in front of him, he became mesmerized and forgot to fight. But Antoine completely lost control. He physically smashed the servers with his own hands. The game world began to collapse. Buddy was separated from Guy by the destruction. With a calm smile, Buddy said, "Being here with you, fighting side by side. This day was the best day of my life." And then Buddy disappeared into pixels. Holding back tears, Guy ran even faster as the world crumbled behind him. In one final leap, he launched himself across the collapsing landscape. In front of millions of viewers, he made it to the other side. The island, built from love and creativity, proved that Antoine had stolen the code. He was arrested by the police. The new game, Free Life, was born. Millie returned to find Guy. Guy finally understood the truth of his existence. He was the love letter in code that Keys wrote for Millie. He gently revealed this to her, hinting that someone in the real world had always loved her. Millie realized the truth. She logged out of the game and ran to Keys in real life. They looked into each other's eyes and finally confessed their feelings. They shared a warm embrace and a deep, emotional kiss. In Free Life, Guy reunited with the newly reborn Buddy. Buddy sheepishly asked, "So, should we go back to work at the bank or something?" Guy replied with a grin, "Buddy, in this world we can go wherever we want and do whatever we want."